Hello, it's Dale here. This is welcome to 2025, New Year. This year is going to be my year of making my journals. Some people probably know that I've been pottering around with my family trees and stuff for ages. So I'm starting a book on things like that and doing pages and whatnot. But in the meantime, I thought I'd show you the little ones I've made. And these ones I've used Khadi paper. That's the Khadi rag paper, which is absolutely fabulous for all sorts of work. And I've written on here, stitching and drawing and everything. And I also get them, I think, bits and pieces, and I join them together by sewing them up so they're easy to sew on. And a lot of my work started out doing all these little books and little bits and pieces because I wanted to find out more about my grandmother, my father's mother, who I didn't know because I was born at the beginning of the year and she died at the end. But I do know she looked after me for about 3 months during that period and never got any information from people, but it makes you want to find out more. So I've made little books about her. I've written all about her. You can't read it unless you look really carefully, but it's just a way of putting a journal together. So this is what I've done in the journal. I found that Ethel did very well at school at spelling, or she got a prize for something. And I've used various things like that's an image of her, and she also did a lot of poker work. That's what a lot of people did in those days, and that's the little image of the poker tray that she's done. So I've torn some up and put them across her, and different things at different times. And I've transferred these either just straight from the paper, or I use some of my different image transfers that I do. And the next page I put some buttons on, and I've used red thread a lot for my family things. That's the sort of colour that I've decided to stick with. This was just a little drawing I did from that, and the background will be something related to her or her husband or the family. And here's some more writing about Ethel and whatnot. And that's my grandparents together. I didn't know him either because he died the following year before I was old enough to get into action. And again, I've put the image onto organza. It's on organza on top of another one on fabric, so you get that layering. And I've used like sticky dots and things. And my grandparents had a bakery. This is Dustin's Bakery, so it's one of the cups and saucers. I'm sure there's lots of them around in New Zealand. And that's part of the paper, that I made a collage or two from various assorted things. And then just to finish that off, I've got another picture of Ethel. I haven't got very many photos, and put them all together. So that's that little book that I made, but it's just a way of putting the book together. It's just what you call a zigzag book. And as I said, Khadi is absolutely fabulous. This is another little one that I've done. And again, I've used Khadi, and I've used different sheets and just stitched them together. This is a much heavier one, rather than use a zigzag. So I've found some lace. This wasn't her lace, but there was a lot of people that like to add things like that. Little pictures, and using sticky dots, and also making, working holes in them with my soldering iron. And this was the newspaper of Whanganui newspaper on the day that she was born. And again, I've used some little strips, just put some on. That's some fabric with holes in, And I've also used them you can see here, I've used the soldering iron to make holes in the back, and some lace, and just stitch it down just to give ideas of what might have been like in those days. Now, a lot of people make books and they use all sorts of other people. I like to use personal people I know, so I don't get images off the web or buy postcards or pictures like that. I use my stuff, and that's actually that motif from the poker work tray, which we have. And it's I guess I don't think these were outrageous. They're just the sort of things that people did of an evening. And that's her death certificate, and I've layered it up and sponged some colour onto it. So again, that's that one. And then I've done a third little one. I've done them with other people as well. And for this one, I found some, this is like that ticking that you buy, and I've stitched it and added to it to make a little image there, which is what I've been doing on this one here, which is actually one of the pages from my book, which is, just got started. So these are some sticky dots added onto here, and put a little cord to pull it out. And again, some of the motifs and bits and pieces, and you'll notice there's a red recurs all the time, and that's their wedding, very small, and it's done on a packing tape image. So you can see it's a bit shiny. I could buff it down, but there they are, all packed in there. And again, that's when my dad was born, so that's the two of them as a layer on, and that's the paper the day he was born. This is a tiny little collage made from lots of the pictures. Collage is a good thing to use as a background because it becomes sort of non-descriptive, but it's sort of there, you can build onto it further. And that's the same photo that you'll see there, onto a background. And then I've taken the newspapers and I've made little scrolls with them, and that's from, you know, when they were born and other times in Wanganui. And this is again just Ethel to finish off. And I've used flower stitch. I love to use these. In fact, I've just stitched up a whole sheet full of these with the flower stitch foot. If you've got a flower stitch foot, it's time to get it out and have a play. And I will do all this, and I'll get my soldering iron. This is Kuhn & Felt, and I will burn them all out. So they're all waiting for me to action. And you can see that I use red threads, Valdani, and buttons, and anything I've got. I think Matisse. This is another one, that's the Matisse Painters one. So I'm looking for things in those colours. And to finish it off, I've done a little spiral, so tiny writing, but all about Ethel and Sid and what they got up to. So that's my 3 little books, and then I shall be moving on to my other thing. So hope that was of interest to you, and see you again in the next week or so. Bye.